Hello everyone, this is Prem Sodani coming up with the next round of our editorial decoded, and in this session we are going to discuss about this editorial, that is what COP26 achieved and didn't. It appeared in Indian Express especially. So in this editorial section we will be discussing what are the developments, what all were the developments under this COP26 and what other things we have missed under this COP26. One by one we are going to discuss under this editorial section. Let me show you the article which appeared in this the Indian Express. That was the article. This is the second article which was appeared on in Indian Express. We are going to discuss these two articles in this one section only, right? So let me start with this one. What was the COP26? But first you should know the background of this COP26. So under United Nations framework on this climate change, UNFCCC, we had this Kyoto Agreement earlier, right, under which we had this type of common but differentiated responsibilities, where developed countries were supposed to be the more responsible for the global these GHG emissions, and developing countries were also saying that yes, we will also do something on our part, but this should be common responsibilities but differentiated, means the developed countries would have more and more targets compared to the developing and poor countries. This was the Kyoto Protocol. Then we came up with this Paris Initiative, Paris Agreement, under which we had this target of 2 degrees C temperature or well beyond 1.5 degrees C if it is achievable, to limit that temperature, that global temperature by 2100, year of 2100, or in this decade, in this century, sorry. This was the Paris climate deal, but that was not finalized, means somewhere we had not that consensus which was required for the carbon market, especially for the INDCs also. These INDCs should be legally binding or not. So all these points were there which were yet to be finalized, and especially this carbon market mechanism was something where we had no consensus, right? So under this COP26, now you will have some background that what we are going to do, what were the expectations and what we have achieved, especially under this COP26. So first point is, what are the promises, or we can say what are the things which were discussed in this COP26. The first point is, we need strong nationally determined contributions under this Paris climate deal. Remember, these NDCs were something which were intended by the countries. Yes, we are going to reduce this much of the greenhouse emissions, or this much of the renewable energy we are going to create, and this would be the fossil fuel cut and from our country. These were the nationally determined goals, right, contributions, but they were not legally binding. So what was the first point which came here? That is, we need strong nationally determined contributions, because we need to limit this temperature of 1.5 degrees centigrade. This was the consensus and a good point under this Glasgow Declaration, where we are discussing this 1.5 degrees centigrade temperature limit instead of this 2 degrees centigrade temperature, right, under Paris climate deal. So we need strong NDCs, especially from next year onwards, and we need 2030 plans. They must be intensive one, right? This was the first point. The second point was, we need to scale up the mitigation procedures, because these are the poor countries or the LDC countries, least developed countries, which are at the receiving end. Means whatever going to be the extreme events of the climate or the weather, these will be the countries which will be under the radar of these impacts, right? So we need to scale up the mitigation. Third, we discussed that annual meeting should be there, especially with these countries, so that we could discuss these NDCs. Along with that, we will also scale up some of the initiatives and these discussions, right? And UN is asked to preside the meeting on in 2023, especially on this matters of this temperature limits, on the matters of NDCs. So this is going to be the meeting under UN in 2023. Then we came up with this coal phase out, and the subsidies on the fossil fuels should be removed, those especially those which are unnecessary subsidies, right? So these are the 4 things which were discussed in this COP26. Now we can move ahead, and especially we will be talking about the adaptation, what was about the mitigation, what was about the funding mechanism. So we are going to discuss one by one. Now come to the next point, that is adaptation. So because the temperature is rising day by day, so we need to adapt, especially those countries which are LDCs, which are poor countries. They need some funding pattern also for the adaptation. So for that adaptation, what they need minimum of $70 billion of funding, right? So that they could have this adaptation techniques, the adaptation technology especially, and this funding is needed, that is $70 billion, but what is being provided, that is only $15 billion. So that is quite insufficient one. So this funding need to be doubled, that is to be $30 billion by 2025, and that will be scaled up further after 2025, right? So this is one thing. The second thing is, for example, we have under Paris Climate Deal that target especially related to the temperature, that is 2 degrees centigrade, and if it is possible, that should be the best one, that is 1.5 degrees centigrade is the target. But we have no target especially in the matter of mitigation. So what we need a kind of legal target that should be related to the mitigation, and that is something which we have missed one, but yet it was discussed, right? So this was all about the adaptation. Now we come to the next point, that is mitigation, that is adaptation, and then finance. So especially under this UNFCCC in 2009, it was discussed that because of their carbon intensive development, developed countries are supposed to provide the funding of $100 billion to these developing countries, to these poor countries, to these least developed countries by 2020 onwards. Means $100 billion every year they have to provide by 2020 onwards. But only now we have seen that amount is being provided, that is only now $15 billion, and what was the need? $17 billion, $70 billion, right? So this is quite insufficient one. So developed countries are asked that you have to provide this much of the amount minimum, but what developed countries are saying, we will be providing that amount by 2023 onwards. Right now we will be providing that much of the amount, we are going to scale up, but by 2023 onwards we will be providing $100 billion funding to these countries, and after 2025 that funding will be further scaled up, right? So this is about the finance. Now we come to the next part of our discussion, that is when these countries are at the receiving end, for example least developed countries, poor countries, so what about their losses and damages because of these climatic events, because of the extreme events they are going to suffer with, right? So in this loss and damage, we had earlier also this Warsaw mechanism where we discussed about this loss and damage. So we were expecting some kind of legal mechanism, some kind of a strong initiative under this COP26, especially on this loss and damage. But what we had only a dialogue mechanism on this loss and damage. So this was something which we were expecting, that is going to be the legal mechanism, but we had not this initiative also. This kind of legal agreement was not there, especially on this loss and damage. So we had missed that opportunity, especially on this matter, right? Now we come to the next part of our discussion, that is very, very important, that is carbon market. So under Paris Climate Deal, we had that consensus between developing countries and developed countries what to do about the carbon credits. What is carbon credit? Let me first discuss that thing. For example, this is a developing country, right? This is a developing country, and they had no target, especially legally binding targets were not there on these developing countries under Kyoto mechanism, but developed countries had these legal targets to cut their emissions under Kyoto Protocol also, right? So for example, this is India, and India had no legal target to reduce the emissions, but still India had reduced this 20 ton of CO2 production, for example, in a year. So what India will get for these 20 tons reduction? India will be provided with some carbon credits, and for example, these are 20 carbon credits. Now what India can do with these carbon credits? India can actually sell them to the developed countries in order to reflect these 20 carbon credits in their balance sheet, right? So for example, this was US. Under Kyoto Protocol, US was, for example, given the target to reduce this global, to limit this global greenhouse gas emissions to 200 tons, for example. But US has missed that target, and they had produced this 220 ton of CO2 or GHG emissions. Now, what they can do for this extra 20 greenhouse gas emission tons, they can actually balance by this 20 carbon credits by purchasing these 20 carbon credits from India, right? So these carbon credits will be sold to a person or to a country which is going to be the highest bidder for that carbon credit. So this was the concept of carbon credit, and how these countries, especially developed countries, were purchasing these carbon credits from the developing countries. Now India, China, Brazil, they had enormous amounts of carbon credits because they had reduced most of their carbon greenhouse gas emissions, right? So developed countries were saying, we are not going to buy these carbon credits now. We need some new fresh mechanism, and these carbon credits should be expired, right? But these countries, developing countries, were not ready, so that the consensus was not being built under this Paris climate deal what to do with these carbon credits. Now, what is the mechanism under this COP26 that has been agreed that these carbon credits can be sold out by these developing countries to the developed countries for a period of by a time period of this 2025, and these developed countries can actually use these carbon credit, or these developed countries can actually balance their sheets, especially in this greenhouse gas emission matters, under their INDCs, that is intended nationally determined contributions under Paris climate deal. So they can use these carbon credits also. So this is the biggest achievement of this COP26, where the consensus was built on the matter of this carbon market also, right? So this was a great point. Now we come to the next point, that is parallel outcomes of this initiative, that is of COP26. So there were also some parallel initiatives were going on, that they were multilaterals, they were bilaterals also. So the first initiative was methane reduction initiative. So under this initiative, more than 100 countries, or I can say 100 countries, were agreed to reduce their methane emissions, especially by 30% by 2030. Right? So this is the first thing, and that is a very good initiative, because methane's potential is way beyond than this carbon's than this CO2's potential, especially as a greenhouse gas. So this is one initiative. The second initiative is 100 countries were also agreed to reverse their deforestation process by 2030. These were 100 countries, and the countries like Brazil, where Amazon forests are there, the country like Indonesia is also the part of this initiative. Now we come to the third initiative, that is zero emission cars are to be sold by the period of 2040, right? More than 30 countries have joined this initiative, and India also has joined this initiative. In case of India, you can also see by 2030, India has its own targets. 30% of the passenger vehicles and 70% of the commercial vehicles, for example buses and trucks, are going to be the e-vehicles, especially by the period of 2030 in India. Now we have joined this target also, that is by 2040 we are going to sell only this e-vehicles in India, right? Although it is not a legal binding agreement, or not a legally binding, but still this shows some good intentions from these countries, right? Then we come to the Panchmitra strategy, we are going to discuss in our next slide. But first, this is US and China's joint declaration on climatic cause. So there are many differences between China and this US, but on the matter of this climate change, or on the matter of this environment, they are now coming together, especially with this joint declaration on climate change. So this is also a good gesture, we can say. Now we are going to discuss this Panchmitra strategy from India. So what was Panchmitra strategy? So in this COP26, India came up with its 5 promises, or the 5 elixirs which we are going to give to the global community in the matters of environment. So earlier we had our NDCs, nationally determined contributions, under this Paris climate deal. So first you need to understand these targets under Paris climate deal. So 175 gigawatt of energy is to be achieved by the renewable energy sources by 2030. This was the first promise of India. The second promise was in our energy basket there would be 40% of the share from the renewable energy, and the third promise was we are going to reduce the carbon emissions by 30 to 35% from our economy by 2030, right? So we have intensified these goals. So the first target you can see here is 175 gigawatt is going to be the 500 gigawatt. This 40% is now going to be the 50% of our renewable energy is going to be achieved from these renewable energy resources. This is going to be the 45%, right? And the first promise was India is going to be the net zero emission country by 2070, right? So this is a big promise. And the last, that is the fifth elixir, that is the carbon emissions we are going to reduce especially by 1 billion tons by 2030 only. So these were the 5 promises made by India, declared by our Prime Minister in this COP26, that is termed as Panchamitra strategy, or the 5 elixirs from India, right? So this was all about this COP26, but we have seen that there was some things discussed on the matter of adaptation, on the matter of loss and damages, on the matter of mitigation, on the matter of funding mechanism, on the matter of carbon markets, right? But still it is referred as a missed opportunity. Why this is referred as a missed opportunity? The first thing is because no legal NDCs are there. Means we have said that we need to scale up our NDCs, nationally determined contributions, but there are no legal mechanism how we are going to intensify them, how the countries are made to follow their own INDCs. This is not clear, the first thing. The second thing, when it comes to the mitigation, especially when it comes to the global temperature, that we had the target of 2 degrees centigrade and especially this 1.5 degrees centigrade under this Paris climate deal. But what about mitigation target? So we have no mitigation target, we have no legally binding mitigation target. This is the second missed thing which we could have actually discussed under this COP26, but we have anyhow missed this opportunity, right? The third thing, when it comes to the funding, so funding also, the funding is to be achieved by 2023, right? This $100 billion funding is to be achieved by 2023, and after 2025 that is to be scaled up. But how this is going to be scaled up? Is there any legal mechanism? The answer is no, right? So this is also not clear how the funding will be increased. The fourth missed opportunity was on the matter of this loss and damage, right? Loss and damage. We were expecting some kind of legal window, some kind of legal framework, but what we had under this meeting, that was nothing but a dialogue mechanism, right? Dialogue mechanism. So these were the opportunities which we actually have missed under this COP26, which could have actually changed our scenario, especially in the matter of environment, but we missed anyhow them, right? So this was all about this article. I hope you might have understood all these points which we have discussed in this particular editorial section. If you have understood all these things, we are available here on these platforms. You can actually connect with us on these various platforms. If you like this video, if you share this video, you can like and share. And if you have any doubt regarding these COP26 and all, you can also comment, you can also put your doubt in comment section below. Thank you very much for watching this initiative.
Current Affairs by Forum IAS is an all-in-one program that covers the dynamic aspect of the syllabus from both prelims and mains perspectives. Last year, we have helped more than 100 students crack IAS with our current affairs classes.